I'm going to be talking to you today about the department's school resource management tools, guidance and support, and importantly, how you can use these to support the schools in your local authority. So I've called this presentation Supporting You to Support Your Schools, and that really will be the theme of today. I'm going to focus on two things today. Firstly, the way in which you can use the school resource management tools and services to support your conversations. And secondly, an overview of the tools available and how to access them. Now, I'll say up front, there are a lot of tools and there is a lot to cover today, but I will try to leave time for questions at the end of the session. And as we go through the slides, there are a number of different ways in which you can get in touch with the various teams responsible for these tools to find out more. I will keep an eye out as we go through in the chats if you do have any questions, and there will be an opportunity, as Vicky's already posted, for verbal questions in around the last 10 minutes of the session. So, what is school resource management? So, school resource management from a department perspective covers 7 key areas, and all of our tools and services are designed to support in these areas. From helping schools to use data to benchmark and inform decisions, supporting procurement activity to help schools get the best possible value, providing guidance on how to effectively build digital infrastructure, supporting with workforce through services such as teaching vacancies, guidance to support estate management, and hands-on support from advisors who are experts in their field to help your schools understand their own best practice and identify actions going forward. The final area, which I think is helpfully right in the middle, and one that runs through everything we do in terms of school resource management, is support for school business professionals. We recognise that school business managers in schools are absolutely vital to excellent resource management. And as we go through some of the tools today, I will share with you some of the ways that we can support you to support your business managers in these vital roles. But before we go in to talking about the individual tools, I wanted to start by thinking about you as members of staff at local authorities. How can school resource management support you in your roles? School resource management has been designed as an offer in partnership with the sector, and we've spoken to a number of local authorities across the country to understand how we can help your schools get the best value from their resources, with the ultimate aim of maximising impact on pupil outcomes, which is, of course, what we are all here to do. All of the tools and services that we offer are completely free to use for all state-funded schools. And I'll say now, and I will reference it multiple times, many of them are also tools that you yourselves can use and sign up to access as well. So a reflection on the different ways you might access and use these tools and services in your local authority to support the conversations that you have with your schools. I've pulled out 4 main ways here, but there will be many more. And you might want to keep these in mind as we talk through the offer later, and perhaps reflect on which of the tools might be most useful in the contexts of the schools that you work with. First and foremost, I'd really recommend familiarising yourself with the tools, because these can help inform specific conversations about the needs at a particular school in your local authority, and equip you with the ability to signpost to the support that will be most helpful in each school's specific circumstances. The SRM offer is also a really helpful starting point for new school business managers or head teachers, giving a breadth of information about the areas they may want to explore and focus on as they settle into their roles. You may also want to discuss the tools with your governing bodies, as many of the tools and services available are available for governors as well, and can help them have supportive and challenging conversations with school leadership teams in a really informed way. I'll also talk a little later about how our School Resource Management Advisor, or SRMA programme, can support you with school resource management in your schools. So where can you find this information? So I've included here 4 important sections of our gov.uk page that will help you access all of the information you could possibly need about school resource management. The important one to bookmark is in the top left here, the SRM collection. So this is a one-stop shop for all of the school resource management tools, guidance and support, all held in one place. And each of the links on the page gives a short description of the circumstances in which a school might want to use that tool. It's a great one to bookmark and have with you as you go into conversations with your schools, and a helpful one to signpost, as I say, for new business managers or new head teachers. Our case studies section of our gov.uk page really bring the school resource management tools, guidance and support to life. These are real life examples from schools across the UK who have used the tools themselves to support them in their unique setting. We've got some video case studies and some written case studies which explain the impact that using some of the tools has had on a specific school. And these can be a really helpful way for schools to envisage for themselves the kinds of support that they may be able to obtain from using the tools themselves. The School Resource Management Strategy publication sets out our overall vision and approach for school resource management and provides some helpful context for all of the tools and how they link together in our overarching aims for the programme. And finally, we have a specific section on gov.uk which brings together all of the tools for governing bodies. And it also provides some helpful questions that governing bodies can be asking when they meet with school leaders. Sorry, moved on too quickly there. I'd really recommend sharing this guidance for governors with all of your governing bodies so that they themselves can familiarise themselves with the tools and support available to them. So what are our aims in supporting you in local authorities and supporting maintained schools? Well, we've got 3 key aims of the school resource management strategy. The first is about supporting all school business managers and those who are responsible for school resource management to have skills, knowledge and capacity to achieve excellent SRM. We also want to support school leaders to recruit and deploy and develop their staff effectively. And finally, we want to help schools get the best impact from non-staff spend. And this is all underpinned by supporting our school business managers. So supporting them through building capability and making sure that any school business manager who wants to access training can do so. Through building capacity for school business managers, so supporting them to fulfil their responsibilities as efficiently as they can, and allowing them then to invest their time in activities that really add value for each of your schools. And finally, we want to build a positive and inclusive culture, a rewarding culture for school business managers, as well as for all staff in schools, and one where school resource management is embedded in conversations and something that is positively discussed at relevant opportunities. So let's get into talking about some of the tools that we have on offer. So I've started with our school resource management training webinars. We have just launched our 4th round of our SRM training webinars, which have now been running for 5 years. Now, this curriculum of webinars is built upon the things that you and your schools have told us that they would most value training on. And we've built this programme through all of the previous years to develop and refine the training that we offer. It's possible to access all of the previous year's recordings, and you can now register right now using the links in these slides, which, as Vicky's mentioned, will be shared afterwards, to sign up for this year's webinars. They're all free to attend, and we'd encourage not just your school business managers, but head teachers, governors, and indeed you yourselves can also sign up for these sessions. We've got specific sessions on funding and financial management for maintained schools. And one of the particular sessions that I know has been of real interest over recent years is integrated curriculum financial planning, or ICFP, specifically for alternative provision and special educational needs settings. In terms of building capability, we also have been piloting offering qualification bursaries. These are about supporting school business managers to access continuing professional development in a really targeted way where there is evidence of need. Of course, we would encourage all school leaders to be investing in professional development for their SBMs, and we've been supporting with the bursaries to help where that might not be possible in specific school settings. To date, we've supported 75 new or aspiring chief financial officers, many who've transitioned from a school business manager role to access the level 7 diploma in school financial and operational leadership with a 75% bursary. We're now offering around 30 bursaries per year going forwards, and you can sign up to our school business professional newsletter, which I'll mention later in the presentation, for more information. This summer, we also launched a similar bursary scheme for the Level 5 diploma for school business leaders, and we'll shortly be evaluating the impact of that pilot to consider what we do there going forward. Another way in which we support building capability, and perhaps one that you may have heard of before, is through our School Resource Management Advisor Programme, or SRMA programme. School resource management advisors are accredited sector experts who provide peer-to-peer advice to local authorities and their schools on using all of their resources to deliver the best possible educational outcomes for pupils. Now, an SRMA visit is not just about financial savings, although they may support you with identifying some. This is about peer support. It's about a safe space for challenge and sharing best practice and making sure really that the visit supports the specific needs that you as a local authority and the schools that you support really need in terms of advice. I think it's important to say as well, SRMAs are not inspectors or auditors, and the focus of the visit is very much about what you need to get out of it. We recently developed the programme and it's now much more flexible. So you can choose from having a comprehensive review, which covers a breadth of areas, which I will cover in the next slide, or a more focused review that really hones in on the things that are of most concern or most challenge, or that you think are the biggest opportunities in the schools that you would like a visit for. If there's something that you would really like support with that perhaps doesn't fit with the categories on the next page, then we're really open to having a conversation with you about how a school resource management advisor could support you specifically in your local authority. I think it's also important to recognise that we understand that LA governance differs from Academy Trust governance, and an LA visit will really focus on making sure that it is a three-way conversation with you as the local authority, with the schools that you'd like the SRMA to visit, and with the SRMA. And we can provide a local authority summary report, which brings together all of the findings and reflections from each of the visits to your schools. We recognise that each of you in your local authorities will have different needs, different numbers of schools, and you will need different support and advice depending on your context. And so we'll really take that into account in preparing the SRMA for the visit and throughout the visit, so that when the SRMA is making suggestions, they're making them in the most helpful way for you and your schools. If you'd like to request a visit, then you would contact us directly at the ESFA and we would arrange an appropriate school resource management advisor with the expertise that you're specifically looking for. If we receive a request directly from a school in your local authority, then our case leads would contact you to make sure that you're content to support a wider deployment. So we continue to work in that three-way partnership as we progress. So this is a very long list of the things that an SRMA can cover during a visit. A comprehensive visit will include things like financial governance, integrated curriculum and financial planning, HR and recruitment, as well as costed recommendations, including a costed table of what those would look like for each of your schools. We can offer those more bespoke deployments, which offer a more narrow focus on particular needs, and that might include some specific support around cash flow management, or perhaps advice on how to invest appropriately following an Ofsted inspection. The SRMA will visit a school or multiple schools in your local authority for 1 to 2 days. And so during those 2 days, there's an opportunity to really understand the context and the setting for each of your schools. If you'd like to discuss having a school resource management advisor visit, or you'd like to find out more, you can get in touch with the team through the ESFA contact form. One of the things that school business managers have often shared with us, and indeed school business professionals across the sector, is how helpful it is to have a network of people around them who are in the same role, facing some of the some similar challenges, and who are able to provide peer-to-peer support and advice. We have a directory of school business professional networks on gov.uk, which brings together all of the active networks and groups across the country for school business managers and school business professionals. This can be great for new school business managers, but also for existing school business managers as they think about their career trajectory. And networks include both local, sort of regional forums, online forums, as well as those for specific settings such as alternative provision. And if there's not a network that your school business manager thinks would be particularly helpful for them, you can get in touch with us and we can have a look at where there's a gap and also whether there are any other networks in the area that aren't yet listed. In terms of supporting workforce, I've already mentioned our teaching vacancies service, which is focused on helping schools to put funding back into the classroom. The cost to schools of teacher recruitment is estimated at around 75 million a year, and teaching vacancies were set up to try and solve that problem. And currently schools can list on the teaching vacancies service teaching, leadership and education support vacancies. And the service is completely free and has a great reach of job seekers. At the moment, about 84% of schools are signed up to use teaching vacancies, and the service is one of the largest sources actually of vacancies listed directly by schools in England, with an average of around or sort of nearly 300,000 unique job seekers visiting the service every month. So if you've not yet heard of, or you hadn't heard of the service, or you've not yet accessed it, I'd really recommend speaking to your schools if they have vacancies that they're looking to fill about accessing teaching vacancies in order to list them. We also offer a number of guidance documents which support with frameworks and standards around both digital and estate management. And we recognise that in these two areas, it's important to get the infrastructure right, and it's important to really understand school needs and establish how we can best support them. We've published a number of digital standards which provide guidelines to support schools to build the right digital infrastructure and perhaps understand where to invest in digital infrastructure for the long term. Our most recent standards also include cybersecurity, and we know that this is something that is at the forefront of schools' minds and is intended to help tackle the live harms that we know are active in schools. In terms of estate management, we've issued guidance which includes the Good Estate Management Guidance for Schools, or GEMS, as well as managing asbestos in schools. And our recently published Estate Management Competency Framework sets out the skills and knowledge needed to manage school estates effectively and is intended to be a helpful guidance document, not just for school business professionals, school business managers, but also for school leaders and for yourselves as local authorities to really understand the skills and knowledge around estates in each of your individual schools. Finally, the schools buying programme. This is about getting the best value from non-staff spend. We recognise that schools are consumers, they are buyers in the sector, and we're really focused on providing practical help and advice on those buying decisions and on contract management. We want to make sure that schools, as buyers and decision makers, have the right relationships and skills, as well as the right networks and advice and support to help with what can be really complex buying decisions within a school setting. And ultimately, it's about ensuring that as buyers, schools have access to the best value every time, and they have access to the best deals. So how do we do that? One of the ways is our Get Help Buying for Schools programme. This service provides schools and trusts with access to specialist support, advice and guidance for all of their procurements, including complex procurements such as catering and cleaning. And that's a sort of live human to human contact where you can talk through the service that you're looking to procure or the goods that you're looking to procure and get advice from experts in the field. The Finder Framework service provides department-approved frameworks covering a wide range of goods and services from furniture to ICT. And using our frameworks ensures that schools are not only getting good deals for the services and the goods that they're procuring, but they're also buying those goods in a legally compliant way. We also offer webinars and one-to-one buying conversations to support individual schools to get the best advice for the buying that they're looking to do. Our Finder Framework service also includes energy deals, and these are best in class and DFE assessed, and schools can join these at any point. Finally, the risk protection arrangement is an alternative to commercial insurance that may save time and money for member local authority maintained schools, and this does include cyber cover as well. So that was a quick canter through. There is a lot of information about school resource management and the offer is broad. I think the key thing really that I'd like to leave you with before I take any questions is that we recognise that not all of these tools are going to be relevant at all times to every school. And indeed, in your work in your local authorities, you may draw on these tools at different points depending on the context that you're working in. We'd really advise, though, having a breadth of understanding of what is out there so that you can deploy those and signpost to those in conversations with your schools and indeed take advantage of accessing them yourselves as well. Our School Business Professional newsletter is really our front door for all updates about new opportunities and offers in the School Resource Management programme. And it's a great source of information for school business managers. And we'd really encourage all schools to sign up to access the latest news in this space. And you can do that using the QR code, which will be on the slides that we circulate. You can also sign up to this yourself, so you can keep in the loop and indeed share those messages with your schools. And one important thing that will be coming out through the School Business Professional newsletter very shortly is information about our specific local authority event, which is happening later this term in November. This event will be an expanded version of what you've heard from me today and will delve in a bit more detail into some of the specific tools and services and really understanding how you as local authorities can be using them. So if that is something you'd be interested in, then do sign up to the newsletter where you'll get the link to the Eventbrite to sign up for that in due course. And finally, I'll just say on the last slide, when you receive these, we've brought together some of the direct links to some of the services that we think would be most useful for you so that you can have a quick go-to and scan through as you reflect on the slides. Thank you so much for listening. I'm really happy to take questions.